Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsy69 and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be having a look at the German Tier 9 super heavy, pretty much, the Mäuschen. And when I first reviewed this tank, if you look back, I actually said in that video this could possibly be one of my favourite Tier 9 heavy tanks. I enjoyed it back then. My opinion's changed a little bit. It's changed a little bit, and actually I think this tank is boring as hell. It's boring. The armor profile is not as good as I originally thought it was. People, I think it was because at the time of that video, like, not many people knew how to deal with it. Now I really do think it's a boring tank. It's slow. The armor profile is not great. I mean, as soon as you start turning your hull, the side becomes quite weak. As soon as you start turning your turret, the turret becomes quite weak, and you have that hatch on top, which is pennable as well. So the armor profile was not as good as I originally thought it was. It's a slow tank. It has got a nice gun, but apart from that, I would pick pretty much any other heavy in Tier 9 over this tank. There's so many good Tier 9 heavies. I mean, you got the ST1, which I will be reviewing, E75, you've got the Conqueror, the IS8. There's so many tanks in Tier 9, like heavy wise, that I honestly do think this is the worst Tier 9 heavy. I honestly think this is the worst Tier 9 heavy in the game. The VK45, that's, in my opinion, still a good tank. It can side scrape really well. So yeah, this for me, my opinion, is the most boringest and probably the worst Tier 9 heavy in the game. Tech tree wise, I actually probably prefer the Camp Panzer over this. I would say. Doesn't mean that you can't have good games. I mean, we've got two games for you today, and both are on this map. One's from me and one is from Every Good Name Has Taken, a good friend of mine, fellow YouTuber. Go check his channel out and give him a subscribe. The link will be in the description below, so do go check him out. He's a really good guy. We've actually been fighting to get him CC for a while. He does deserve it. Does tournaments. He's just a generally nice kid. He's quite young and he is really good. So go check him out. Go and give him a subscribe. He does deserve much more subscribers than he has currently got. So this game, I mean, this is me, and we're not going to do anything special. We're winning on cap points. There's only 2 of us left. It is a 2 versus 4, but I'm still full hit points. But the most thing I'm more worried about is they got 3 quick tanks, and if they can all rush me at the same kind of time, then we could be in a lot of trouble. So I decided to get a nice shot there on that T49, so that clears him. There's an E50 there, and there is the AMX 31 prototype. So I went to go towards him, but the Vickers does a great job. The Vickers does a great job, but the enemy team, I mean, that E50, he's doing the right thing. We're on 922 supremacy points, so he is doing the right thing in going for the caps, but unfortunately for him, there's not really much he can do. So it just leaves now this T32. We're not going to go for the HE, we are just going to go for the AP, and the Vickers does take him out, and we do get the 1000 supremacy points. So fair play there to the Vickers. That's a first class. I mean, 3.9k damage, 1272 base XP, and that was a first class. So it's not so hard to ace this tank, but it is quite hard to actually do really well in this tank, because, I mean, as I've said, the armor profile isn't the greatest, and when you are bottom tier, I mean, everything's going to pen you. When you're top tier, like Every Good Name Is Taken here, there is only 2 Tier 9s. This is when this tank becomes actually playable and not too bad. When you are top tier, and there's only 2 Tier 9s. The rest are all Tier 8 tanks. And Every Good Name Is Taken, he's actually going to play this game really well. He's going to have a fantastic battle. And I did promise him probably like over a month ago that I would use this. I haven't used it yet because, I mean, you know, I've been busy with life and etc. So I did promise him that I've recorded it before the last update, and I will eventually use it. So he's actually pushing towards the right side, the medium side, as you might call it, and the enemy and his team are pretty much all split apart. So half has gone either side. So he's gone to help his medium tanks out, which is, I probably wouldn't have done it because this tank is such a slow tank. It's such a slow tank, but it actually pays off really well for him. So he's now going to get behind these medium tanks, and he's going to deal 558 HE down onto that German Bulldog. So that now puts him on a one shot. The T49 is also there. Hopefully he can reload in time. The T49 doesn't know he's there, and unfortunately he does fail HE into that guy, but he still puts him on low enough hit points. The German Bulldog on his team decides to go for a full YOLO run, and he pays the price. And unfortunately for him, the team to the right and the team to the left have just literally vanished. Not even 2 minutes gone, and his team have just disappeared, like gone, poof, and they're gone. Like, it's a 2 versus 5. He's still full hit points. This tank has become better since the armor buff, the HP buff, sorry. So it has got 2,500 hit points. So that's a lot of hit points for a tier 9 tank in a tier 8 game. I mean, look at this Centurion. He's got over 1,000 hit points more than him. The Tiger, I'm not really too sure what the Tiger is doing, but at the moment it's working for him because he is taking the attention of a couple of the tanks, so it gives every a bit of time to deal with this Centurion. He's going to just splash him with the HE there. He's only got 2 HE shells left at the moment. He's only lost a tiny bit of hit points, but it is now a 1 versus 4, and there is still the 2 tier 9s left to deal with, along with the 2 tier 8 tanks. So the Object 252U decides to poke up, and luckily for Every, he was a one shot, but now he has a K91 pushing from the side, and he has the ISU 152 pushing from the rear. So that was a bad bounce. He could have done with that penning. But now what does he go for? Does he go for the tier 9, or does he go for the big gun? Because the big gun is actually penning him. So he's at 1 versus 3 now, and I'm thinking there's no way that he can pull this off. But that was a lovely ram. He needed that ram. He needed that bounce, because he's now bringing that guy down to a one shot, and he can clear him. If he wouldn't have bounced that, he would not even be on 100 hit points. And now he's going to start getting these vital bounces from this K91. So just 2 tanks left, but both tanks are still full hit points. It should only take 1 shot each from these guys to clear Every, and they are just sat there. I mean, why don't they both push? I do not know. They should both be pushing. At least the Mäuschen should be trying to get behind Every. So there's 1 tank in front and 1 tank behind. And at this point, that is exactly what he does. And I'm thinking, right, it's pretty much game over. Fair enough there to the Type 59 saying good game to the Mäuschen. He's on 5.3k damage. What the hell is that Mäuschen doing? I do not know, and he just gives the K91 a little love tap to clear him. Not sure exactly what this guy is doing. I don't know if it's his signal or not, or he just has no idea. I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know. I think it must be it's got to be his signal, which is absolutely perfect timing for Every. 6.7k damage now, and now it is report the mouse. Like, no, don't report the mouse. You can clearly see he's trying, and I think it was just his signal right at the last minute. But fair play to Every. He put up a fantastic fight there, 1 against 4, and he pulls off a nice win. 2.7k block damage, and he ends on 7,700 damage. Well played, and a well-deserved Klobanov. So that's it. That is the Mäuschen, in my opinion, the worst tier 9 tank in the game. But you do get a mouse from the tank, so it's still worth grinding, but it's not that fun. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you soon.